Hello, this is Juanita Mosley. She is 77 years old. When and where were you born?
I was born in Galveston, Texas, February the 16th, 1939.
Did your parents ever share their memories with you about the day you were born?
Well, I don't remember too much about that.
How did your family decide to live in Liberty County?
Well, probably because my mother had been here all of her life, and that's just where we lived.
How did they describe Liberty County?
Well, it was just ordinary, a lot of sand and grass burrs and farming.
Who were your grandparents?
H.B. Craven and Ruby Lucky Craven.
Where were they from?
My grandmother was from Kansas and my grandpa was from Mississippi.
Were there any other family members in the area with you?
I had another grandma and grandpa in Dayton, Texas.
Who was the oldest relative you remember as a child?
My two grandmothers.
What do you remember about them?
I know that we stayed with my grandmother Craven a lot of the time because my mother was usually working.
What was the house like?
It was just a very old house made out of wood. It was on concrete blocks and it was wooden floors.
How many rooms?
4.
Bathrooms?
None.
Did you have electricity?
No, not until I was a bigger kid.
And work plumbing?
No.
Telephones?
No telephones.
Were there any special items in the house that you remember?
Oh, not really, but I know that my grandmother had a big old kind of a roll top desk that she kept all of her papers and stuff in.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Probably when I was about 5 or 6 and we lived in another big old house that was really old and it was really up high off the ground and we always got under there and played.
Where did you attend grade school?
In Liberty.
Where did you attend high school?
In Liberty.
What were your schools like?
Well, my first school was where the post office is right now in Liberty, and it was just a big old 2-story school, and there was a sliding fire escape on the outside, and a lot of kids would always slide down that path.
What was your favorite thing about school in Liberty County?
Just all the fun we had in studying and lessons.
Was football as big as it is now?
I never did know too much about it, but it was pretty big when I was in high school in the 50s.
Did you and your friends have special hangout where you like to spend your time?
Well, when we were older in high school, we'd go to Walker's Drive-In.
And what did you do there?
Get us a Coke and meet with some other friends and just hang out for a while.
Where did you go shopping for clothes and food?
Well, if there was any shopping, it was at Sears in Houston. Most of my clothes were homemade or hand-me-downs.
What was the popular restaurant?
Well, there was one I remember being uptown, was Price's Cafe.
Was there fast food?
When I was first married and a little before that, it was the Stump hamburger place.
Were there any popular styles during your youth that you remember?
Well, in junior high and high, we wore our blue jeans rolled up halfway to our knees and had bobby socks and black and white saddle Oxfords.
What kind of clothes, hobbies, slang terms were popular when you were a teenager?
Well, that was mainly the clothes that I remember.
What was your first job in Liberty County? What was it like?
I worked at the Mercy Hospital in the kitchen when I was in junior high and high school some. And it was just work, taking trays to rooms and washing dishes in the kitchen and putting food on the trays.
Did you have or do you currently have any other jobs in Liberty County?
Oh, not any real jobs. I babysat a lot.
Did you have, or do, oh, that's the one. Do you remember the first time you saw a television, a car, a refrigerator?
Well, I was really about 3 years old, and the people across the street had an old green car. I remember that. And a television was the same neighbors across the street. I remember them getting a television in the neighborhood, and people could go over there sometimes and look at it.
How is the world different from what it is like when you were a child?
It's very different. Everything's different.
What would you consider the most important inventions during your lifetime?
Hmm. Well, a refrigerator's pretty important.
How did you meet your spouse?
At Walker's Drive-In.
How old were you when you met?
16.
How old were you when you got engaged?
Must have been 17.
And then when you got married?
Well, I was almost 18.
Did you meet your spouse in Liberty County?
Yes.
What is the most significant event that you can remember that occurred in Liberty County during your lifetime?
Well, when John Wayne came to Liberty, dedicated the Liberty Bell or whatever for muscular dystrophy, I remember that.
What world events had the most impact on you while you were growing up? Did any of them personally affect your family?
No, I don't really know too much about that. I don't know what in.
How is the world today different from what it is like when you were a child?
Nobody asked me that. But everything is more modern and everything's different. Everything's like it used to be.
What wars have been fought during your lifetime?
World War II and Korean and Vietnam.
What are the most difficult and most rewarding things about growing up older in Liberty County?
Well, I've learned a lot, and I guess I did okay. I've done a lot of work.
If you had to do it all over again, would you change growing up in Liberty County?
No, I guess I like it.
What do you want people today to remember about Liberty County?
But it's a nice place to live, and a lot of people around that you know.
Here, let's show some pictures.
Okay.